our attendees are coming in. All right, I think.
Good evening. We want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for coming. We would like to thank our delegates, and we want to kind of move forward because we know that this is a busy time of the year for our representatives that are here with us this evening. So I want us to go ahead and get started. And at this time, I would like for the technical part of the program for Robin to kind of give us an overview.
Okay, so everybody is entered as regular attendees. It's a webinar format, so we cannot actually see or hear the attendees until I promote you to a panelist, which will happen after our delegates speak. And it'll be one at a time as our moderator calls your name. I will promote you. You'll see a little message that says rejoining, and then you'll be able to unmute and turn your video on for your turn to speak. If you have any questions or concerns, you should post that in the chat, and I'll try to keep an eye on that. And if you did not register to speak ahead of time, if there's time at the end, we may be able to give you 1 minute at the end to speak.
Thank you. And now I will introduce our moderator, Trish Powell, which she will actually give the rules for the forum. And at that particular point, we will then allow our delegates and representatives to give a brief opening remark. And after the remarks from the community, then there will be closing remarks from our delegates. If there is time for those of you that have signed up this evening, once again, we will try to allow you to speak, but it just depends on the time table that we have this evening. Thank you once again for coming out this evening.
Hi, I'm Trisha Powell, and we'll go over the rules. Number 1, your participation in this evening's events constitutes acknowledgement that you accept the recording and streaming of this event. Number 2, no rebuttals due to time constraints. 3, Maryland General Assembly representatives will be allowed 2.5 minutes for opening statements and 2 minutes for closing remarks. Number 4, each speaker on behalf of an organization will be allowed 2.5 minutes to speak. Number 5, each speaker on behalf of an individual or non-registered organization will be allowed 1 minute to speak. Number 6, if time remains after our scheduled speakers, those registering this evening will be permitted to speak for 1 minute. Number 7, the timekeeper screen will show when 30 seconds remain. Please end the sentence and stop speaking. And of course, polite civility is expected at all times. And let's go ahead and hear our opening statements from our representatives. Senator Bailey, would you like to start, please?
Senator Bailey conveyed to me earlier that he may have some family issues that would keep him from getting one. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's there.
Thank you very much, Jerry. And good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to be here tonight. Very interested to hear each and every one of you. As Jerry was saying, as you may know, my wife is the president of the board over here for Board of Education in St. Mary's. So she has a meeting tonight. And I just got my son to a basketball practice and my daughter to another basketball practice. So if I am not here for the end of this meeting, it is not that I don't want to be, but I need to be a dad some nights. And when I am here, I will go back and watch this Zoom and watch each and every one of you if I'm not here. So I wanted to just do a brief opening with you. As you know, we're getting ready to go back to session. We're going to go back early this year. We're going to go back beginning of December 6th for the congressional redistricting maps. We're also going to deal with veto overrides. This is going to be a pretty in-person, in-depth session for us the first 10 days, because that's what we're doing. But I wanted to say, just 2 weeks ago, we heard from the voters from Virginia, New Jersey, and in places all over the country. They all went to the polls and we learned a great deal about it. And we learned the choices that they made in that election. We learned that really and truly our economy matters. And the voters are worried about inflation, supply chain issues, and our future. And they also were very worried about our Constitution. One thing that rang true is we learned that law and order matters and that people didn't want to defund the police. We need to get back to our small businesses and who support the working men and women who built this great nation. And a big thing that you're going to hear was a big issue for all of us was unemployment. That's not an entitlement or a long-term job in this state. So I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. We have a local office and we are open and willing to hear from you on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Bailey. Delegate Clark.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Trish. I appreciate it. Good. Thank you folks for hooking up tonight on the internet and the Zoom meeting. I truly wish that we could be there in person, and hopefully in a very short period of time, everybody will feel a lot more comfortable and we can get back to normal in these. These Zoom meetings are nice, but it's not the same. You don't get the feel of the crowd of the people. You don't get to talk to the people afterwards. And it's just, to me, I just don't like it. I don't like it in the committee meetings. I prefer to be there in person with folks and talk to them. Just to add on to Senator Bailey, we'll be going to go into a special session on the 6th of December, probably for a couple weeks, to address redistricting and veto overrides and maybe a few other things. On redistricting, my position has been very clear ever since I was 6 years ago and I was appointed to this delegate seat. In this redistricting session, Calvert County deserves to have some redistricting done and have more local people that are representing the citizens of Calvert County. The delegates and senators that we have now that live outside the county do a tremendous job, and they work very well with myself and Delegate Fisher. But unfortunately, Delegate Fisher is the only elected state level official in Calvert County that needs the votes from the people of Calvert County to be elected. All the rest of the positions, including mine, can be elected by the people from outside of Calvert County. I've said this from day one. I would hope that the governor's commission, that bipartisan commission, put that on paper. I would hope that the leadership at the congressional level and the House and the Senate will take that into effect and see what they can do to help with the citizens of Calvert County, if not wholly, partially, to make their votes count more. After all, I mean, one of the big issues last year was people voting for the representation in their areas that had to do with commissioner forms of government. As a lot of you know, There's not a whole lot that I'm going to say that most of you folks don't know about me. And you know my mindset and what a flexible guy I can be some days. And some days I'm probably not real flexible. I try to do the best job I can every day and try to look at all issues on both sides, whether it's Republican or Democrat, and do what's best for the majority of people in Calvert County and St. Mary's County. So as we move forward, keep that in mind. It's been an honor for me the last close to 20 years of representing Calvert County Board of County Commissioners for 12 years. And this will be my 6th year in the House of Delegates. So I look forward to working with all the groups that are out there and moving forward. And let's hope very soon we can meet in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Clark. Senator Jackson could not be with us tonight, but he did put together a recording for us. So Robin, can you play that recording?
Hi, I'm Senator Michael Jackson, State Senator representing the Legislative District 27, which covers the tip of Calvert County down to St. Leonard's. Sorry I can't be with you this evening, but it's an honor to speak to you virtually tonight as part of the Calvert County League of Women Voters annual legislative evening. Since my appointment to the Senate in January, it's been a great privilege to travel through other portions of Calvert County that I previously hadn't represented. As you know, for 6 years I served as your delegate in Subdistrict 27B. The county has a truly diverse array of needs, and I count it an honor to advocate for those needs in Annapolis. I was recently appointed to the Senate Budget and Taxation Committee, and I'm excited about this enhanced opportunity to bring needed state resources back to our communities. As we approach the upcoming legislative session, please know as well that the entire District 27 team stands ready to fight for the interests of our county in Annapolis, and we covet your input on the issues that matter most to you. We each will have a variety of bills that we'll introduce in January. Please monitor those bills closely and let me know what you think. Even let me know if you're interested in testifying on behalf of those pieces of legislation. Please also let me know if you have any ideas for legislation that will enhance our communities. You can find links to each of our legislative proposals at mgaleg.maryland.gov, and you can contact my office directly at any time at 301-858-3700 or by email at michael.jackson@senate.state.md.us with any questions. Again, it's a great honor to serve you in Annapolis and to be with you here tonight virtually. I look forward to hearing from you in the very near future. Please don't hesitate to call me if you think I can be of any assistance to you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Delegate Jones.
Good evening. Many of you know
You want
me
to
in
turn
the
your
community.
camera on?
You'll have to give me just a moment. I can turn that on in just a moment.
Okay.
So I have attended this function for many years, but of course I attended in my other capacity, I should say, as the Southern Maryland liaison for U.S. Senator Ben Cardin, and prior to that for Senator Barbara Mikulski. And so it's been an honor after having been appointed to fill Senator Jackson's vacancy in the House earlier this year in February. So when I came into session, obviously the legislature was tackling some pretty serious issues. So COVID relief, unemployment, there were sweeping packages passed on voting rights, fixing unemployment, but also addressing police for the past legislative session. And so obviously this upcoming session, there will be many more issues to work on, and we will be taking on redistricting for the congressional district.
Oh, goodness. Technical difficulties.
Other members will only be talking about congressional seats this month, but we will be taking on redistricting in the regular session. And so I look forward, as always, to continuing to hear more about what the community's concerns are. As Senator Jackson already mentioned, there are several bills that he's preparing to sponsor, and that I'm going to be looking to co-sponsor or cross-file some of those. And so I will be tackling those issues, and just happy to continue to fight for Calvert and for the things that are going to enhance our community and make us better, but obviously in this new capacity as your delegate. And so I look forward to hearing more tonight from everyone about what your priorities are. So thank you. And again, as Senator Bailey already mentioned, I know that my children are already in the background making noise. So please excuse if I, have my camera off or anything like that tonight, but I'm also double dutying it tonight. So look forward to hearing everyone's concerns.
Thank you, Delegate Jones. Okay. Now we're going to go to the remarks from the community organizations. The first is Community Mediation Center of Calvert County, Mary F. Boynton.
She will be speaking live from in the library, and so we'll see her under Tori's presentation. If hopefully Tori's not having technical difficulties. There we go. Just need.
Okay. You're on.
Thank you. Thank you, delegates, senators. Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll try again. Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Boynton, and I am representing as a volunteer mediator from the Community Mediation Center of Calvert. Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you. About 10 years ago, I was a party in a mediation that was conducted by Community Mediation of Calvert. And I was so impressed with the process and the outcome that I decided to take the mediator training, and 10 years later, here I am. Community mediation helps individuals and groups find solutions to their conflicts through conversation in a safe place. Through conversation, individuals feel their issues are heard and that they're acknowledged. And once people feel acknowledged, then they're more willing to feel empowered, and they maybe will compromise and help come up to a unique situation for their problem. We've been part of the big conversations which were held at Middleham Church, discussing things like healthcare, gun safety, and also racism within our Calvert community. Our services also take a look at prevention. We are working with the school system. We have trained student peer mediators and peer mentors. We have these support circles for 9th graders who are entering high school, and that can be a hard time for them. We've trained them, and they can share their concerns. And this year we have one with 5th graders in a class which we're calling Peace Circles, and they're learning about self-esteem, respect, and dealing with emotions. So we're hoping that these services in the school provide the students with tools for conflict resolution and in the future. Our services are provided at no cost to the participants, voluntary, it's confidential and non-judgmental. I'd like to end with 2 stories about mediation. We are at the day of trial with the district court, and the judges will also ask us to mediate. So he requested, there was a neighborhood conflict, and apparently it had escalated to the point where the police were called in. And so the judge asked the mediators to try to do this. We worked with the 2 people, and apparently within about an hour, they resolved their situation, and they came up with the peace agreement themselves. Nobody told them what to do. The other thing was, in our county, we had a racist graffiti on the football field, and the community mediation worked to help those groups share their concerns. Thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, next is Second Lieutenant Richard W. Collins III Foundation with Don Collins speaking.
Good evening. My name is Richard W. Collins Jr., and I'm here along with my wife, Dawn Collins, on behalf of the Second Lieutenant Richard W. Collins III Foundation. Our foundation was established as a result of our son who was murdered on the campus of the University of Maryland at College Park on May 20th of 2017. The purpose of our foundation is, number one, to pursue social justice initiatives to eradicate hate and hate crimes in our state and throughout the nation. We are currently established or founded our foundation about 4.5 years ago. And we're proud to announce that we have established relationships with 2 universities in the area, Bowie State University, which was our son's alma mater, and the University of Maryland at College Park. And the purpose of the Social Justice Alliance that was established is primarily to promote the ideas of what it means to be a citizen and what it looks like to have fair and equitable treatment, regardless of race, religion, color, gender. Also, we are proud of the fact that our foundation was able to lobby the Maryland State Legislature to create the Second Lieutenant Richard W. Collins III hate crime law, which enhanced the law so that it was more of a useful tool for prosecutors in going after those individuals who would engage in hate crimes. Also, we're proud of the fact that we've been able to establish 3 scholarships currently for ROTC cadets as well as other students at both Bowie State University and the University of Maryland. In addition, the state of Maryland has granted a $1 million scholarship for ROTC students in the 4 HBCUs in the state of Maryland. So we're very proud of that accomplishment. And last but not least, we're proud of the fact that we were able to, through our state representatives, both senators and 2 of our state representatives, both Congressman Steny Hoyer and Congressman Anthony Brown, to establish the law for making sure that all ROTC cadets and newly commissioned officers are covered by military honors and awards. So we're very proud of those accomplishments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Calvert County NAACP, Michael Kent.
Good evening. My name is Michael Kent. I'm the president of the Calvert County NAACP. I basically came out tonight to reintroduce myself to you because we haven't seen you over the last 2 years. Due to COVID, we haven't had as many events as we normally have. But thanks to the help of the health department and Dr. Polsky, late last summer, we were able to pull off our biggest event ever during our Community Day Juneteenth event. We had over 1,200 people in attendance. They felt safe to come out because we worked with the health department, Dr. Polsky, the Concerned Black Women, and a lot of the Black churches in the county to vaccinate people. And we got enough vaccinated so that they felt safe to come out and spend the day with us. We also had another event later on during Labor Day weekend where we had the Pride 2 tall ship come down from Baltimore. And we were able to have over 100 adults and children take free rides, 2-hour trips on the Pride 2 ship out and about the bay and come back in safely. So we're looking forward to do that again this year. And hopefully we'll have some of the delegates and the senators be able to come out with us. We're going to continue to work on issues like that with the health department, things like diabetes screening, cancer screenings. And we just found out recently that there's an issue in the school system with vaping, with over 100, not 100, but 1,000% increase in vaping in the high schools and more than 400% increase in vaping in the elementary schools. So one of the things we'd like the delegates and the senators to look at is passing legislation to ban all of the flavored vaping devices, whether they be disposable or refillable. all the ones that the orangey and tangerine flavored and menthol flavored devices to be banned. And we're very willing to come up and testify on any of these issues or any other issues that you all may have in the next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, next up is Calvert Education Association with Donna Estenzo.
Good evening. My name is Donna Ostenso, and I am the president of the Calvert Education Association. First, I want to thank Senator Jackson, Delegate Jones, and the community members here today for their support of the blueprint for Maryland's future. The blueprint is a transformative bill to fundamentally improve our schools and make sure that every student in every neighborhood has a fantastic school. And those resources are more needed now than ever due to the challenges of the last year plus. We have seen staff shortages in our county and across the country. The blueprint's focus on increased staffing and salaries will help with that over the long term. And its expansion of career technical education, pre-K, community schools, and so many other areas will be a great help to our school system as well. But we also need to look in the short term. And right now, teacher workload and overly large class sizes and caseloads, including special educators and mental health practitioners, are deeply challenging issues, especially when students need extra levels of support. That is where I would encourage us to look at legislation for the upcoming session that would allow educators a greater voice in setting class sizes and caseloads so that we can bring those numbers down, reduce workloads, and most importantly, provide every single student with the level of individualized attention that they deserve. We must have the time and ability to build relationships with students and address the needs of the whole child. And over the long term, we must make sure that the blueprint is fully funded and implemented. It is the key to the future of our public schools and our student success. And finally, if we do not address all of these issues, the big problems we have now are going to become even bigger. We are going to lose veteran teachers to retirement and resignations, which is going to increase the teacher shortage. We must do better by our educators and for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance with Gail Reed.
Good evening. My name is Gail Reed, and I am the president of the board of directors of the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance Association. We are a group that is very interested in small businesses and in the accomplishment and making small businesses successful. CCMBA supports the following and welcomes the support of Southern Maryland delegation where applicable. We see that some of these things are being implemented, but we like to kind of refresh you on things. First of all, the tax relief, which with continued incentives and plans to attract businesses to Calvert County, Southern Maryland, and to Maryland in general. We asked to look at reduced duplication of fees across organizations, for example, the health department and food trucks. Local buying and procurement focus. Businesses pay business and individual taxes. These taxes should be recycled back to support small business growth. That is evident in local procurement memo that was sent out on November 16th of 2021. More state-supported programs to grow and develop small businesses. Small businesses create jobs, many of which are very well-paying jobs and are the economic engine for the economy. For example, we like to expand upon and add to programs like the Small Business Development Center, as well as the Calvert Minority Business, which are groups that are on the front line at this point. They need grants and other incentives to help them to continue to do good work. Housing incentives are for our workers that are very talented in many areas. And we need housing for those, affordable housing for those people to come and live in Calvert County. Planning and zoning that benefits the local Calvert County businesses with state requirements in mind. Also, we need to look at common sense signage in Calvert County that can assist small businesses with marketing and advertising to help grow their businesses. There have been signage in Calvert County that is derogatory and decisive. This type of signage does not promote positive economic development. It doesn't promote tourism, and it does not help project a positive community attitude for Calvert County for those who might choose to visit. All elected representatives, in addition to Calvert County commissioners, should ensure that the signage of such things are eliminated. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. The next person up is for Calvert County Democratic Party. David
He's not here
Salazar.
today, so we can move on to the next one.
Okay, Calvert County Republic.
So hold on, he is actually here. I just promoted him virtually.
Okay, David Salazar for the Calvert County Democratic Party.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, and good evening, senators and delegates. My name is David Salazar, and I'm here on behalf of the Calvert County Democratic Central Committee. The Calvert County Democratic Party sincerely thanks you for your service to our community and state. While we may not agree on every issue, we deeply appreciate your commitment to our community. In our shared quest to strengthen this community, the Calvert County Democratic Party is focused on 3 key issue areas: free and fair elections, improving the quality of life for our friends and neighbors, and promoting our shared values. As our state representatives, we respectfully ask that you introduce legislation to promote policies to help us realize that goal. First, by ensuring free and fair elections, since that is a cornerstone to our American democracy. We ask that you work with our local government to expand the number of early voting sites here in Calvert. Additionally, we ask that you support the resources needed to provide an abundant number of ballot drop boxes as were used in the most recent election. Pardon me. We also ask that you work to protect the best interests of Calvert County and our Southern Maryland region when considering the congressional and legislative redistricting maps. Very important to all of us. Secondly, bolstering the quality of life for those who call Calvert home is paramount to us reaching our full potential. We strongly urge you to procure the funding necessary to fulfill the promise of a new Thomas Johnson Bridge to relieve the traffic congestion throughout the county and to make our communities a little more walkable. We also encourage you to support the policies that incentivize bringing entry-level jobs here to Calvert County and workforce housing to support those employees. Finally, we are deeply fortunate to have a strong set of values that define our community. We ask that you promote educational curricula that supports empathy and understanding, and we hope that you will support legislation that will allow our community to express itself while protecting our shared family and community values. When we can better understand each other in an open and respectful way, we can work together to overcome those things that divide us. We thank you for this opportunity to speak before you this evening. And again, we thank you for your service to both Calvert County and our state. We look forward to continuing to work together to make our community the place that we all feel safe and are proud to call home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Next is the Calvert County Republican Party, Cal Stewart.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cal Stewart. I am the chairman of the Calvert County Republican Central Committee. Or if you have age on your attendance here, I am the chairman of the Calvert County Republican Central Committee. I've been asked to speak this evening, and what I want to do is just talk about the Central Committee and the political framework that creates it. The law, section 4201, entitled Political Party State Central Committees, requires that the State Central Committee shall govern the political party of our county. Now, that's Democrat, that's Republican. The County Central Committee provides under section 4202 that the principal political party shall elect members of the County Central Committee at a primary election. So the Democratic and Republican Central Committee members will be selected by the populace in the primary election. The state Republican Constitution provides for 9 Central Committee members. The Central Committee members elect a chairman. The Central Committee members continue and must be required to be a resident of the county. The vacancy on the Central Committee must be filled by the local Central Committee by residents of the county. The tenure of the Central Committee members begins with the certification of primary election results and goes until the next election. Composition of the Central Committee requires 9 people who are residents of Calvert County. The County Central Committee governance deals with a constitution, bylaws, and rules and regulations. Calvert County Republican Central Committee Constitution and bylaws requires a review and approval by the local folks. The Calvert County Republican Central Committee's annual activities include the Lincoln Reagan Dinner, the McCabe 120 Club, County Fair Republican Booth, the Tuxet River Appreciation Days Parade, Halloween in the Garden, precinct Republican booths in each precinct in the county, Calvert County Republican Central Party Christmas Party. Pay attention, folks. It's on December the 4th.
Mr. Stewart,
E-News
thank you.
account, the
Mr.
Google
Stewart.
Calendar,
Mr.
early
Stewart,
voting Republican tent.
Mr.
new-
Stewart, your time has passed. Thank you. Okay, the next speaker up is Calvert Association of Educational Support Staff, Stacy Taman. Is Stacy Taman here? Stacy Taman? You're muted.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Taman, and I am the president of the Calvert Association of Educational Support Staff, or CASE. CASE is the second largest labor union of the employees of Calvert County Public Schools, and we represent over 800 CCPS employees. We are the employees who ensure the safety and well-being of all of our students and staff. We are the lights, air, and water in our buildings. We are energy management and inventory control. We provide nourishment to the hungry, healthcare to the sick and injured, as well as before and after care for many of our families. We are the prepared athletic fields, kept and secured grounds, and the security within the buildings. We are the bus routes and the assistance to ensure safe travel. We are communication specialists, student enrollment, and keepers of the most confidential information. We are Calvert County Public Schools frontline and the foundation upon which our school system is built. We are benefits, workers' comp, paychecks, and the daily management of all school funds. We are fleet management, routine repairs and maintenance, sanitized buildings and germ control, student information centers, data infrastructure, and the technology needed for all daily operations. And we deliver instruction, one-on-one, in small groups, through assistive technology, as sign language interpreters and signing assistants, and in entire classrooms when no substitutes can be found. Right now, with the substitute shortage, it's the support staff who are ensuring that the school day continues. The educational day cannot and does not happen without us. When the pandemic struck and schools were closed, it was the support staff who remained to ensure the school system was still operational. But we are often left out of the conversation. So my priority is to start that conversation with you. I invite you to reach out to me or shadow my colleagues to really see who we are and how the front lines of CCPS actually work, the value we hold in this community, and why we belong in your priorities. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stacy. Next is Harriet Elizabeth Brown Commemoration Task Force, Margaret Junko.
Okay. Am I on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My name is Margaret Junko. I had the pleasure of chairing the legislatively created Harriet Elizabeth Brown Commemoration Task Force. First, appreciation for you as our elected representatives for your support of this task force and its 3 recommendations. Designation of the Harriet Elizabeth Brown Memorial Parkway, a spectacular portrait prominently displayed in the courthouse, and renaming and creating a new Harriet Elizabeth Brown Community Center and Park, replacing the current inadequate interim center. We especially thank the many of you who have signed on as supporters, more than 35 organizations and 200 individuals. A special thanks to Senator Jack Bailey, Senator Michael Jackson, and Delegate Rachel Jones for signing on as supporters. We hope our other 2 delegates, Mark Fisher, who was very helpful in the early days of our task force, and Jerry Clark will join this impressive group. We really want you on our team. I'm part of a group of community leaders working to make sure the new Harriet Elizabeth Brown Community Center and Park becomes the heart of Prince Frederick. Pat Nutter, Assistant Sheriff Dave McDowell, Malcolm Funn, Wilson Perrin, Guthrie Smith, and Debbie Shoup. Tonight, I ask you, as our elected representatives, to work with us to ensure sufficient funding to fully realize this 3rd recommendation, a first-rate permanent Harriet Elizabeth Brown Community Center and Park. The county's already bought 27 acres on Fairground Road. The Department of Parks and Recreation will soon be creating a master plan for the center and park for community input. The Board of County Commissioners have allocated $6 million for this effort. However, with rising construction costs, we know that additional funding will be needed. This is a great starting point, but not the ending point. We ask you as our elected representatives to work with us to get additional funding to make this center a reality and the gem of Prince Frederick. It could be through bonding and capital improvement funds. It could be money from the new federal infrastructure bill, from everything from state-of-the-art HVAC to stormwater management and improved public transportation in Prince Frederick, or it could be additional funds from the state and federal programs. The task force also recommended a museum or some sort of active learning space be incorporated in the permanent center and park. Thank you for your past support. As things move ahead, we look forward to working with you to ensure a plan for sufficient funding to make the Harriet Elizabeth Brown Community Center and Park the gem, the reality of Prince Frederick, that will make us all proud, and indeed a facility worthy of our county and of our own civil rights hero, Harriet Elizabeth Brown. Thank you so much, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Margaret. The next person is from Calvert Affordable Housing Alliance, Maureen Hoffman.
Evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, Delegate Clark, Delegate Jones, and Senator Bailey. My name is Maureen Hoffman, and I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the Calvert Affordable Housing Alliance. We are not a new organization. We were established in the year 2000 as a nonprofit, but times and opportunities have certainly changed since that time. But the need for safe and affordable housing still exists. The Calvert Affordable Housing Alliance, our focus is making a difference one house at a time. We are a group of citizens who are familiar with all the efforts over the past 2 decades to promote the development of affordable housing. We know what works and what hasn't worked. With a historical perspective and practical knowledge of current best practices, we are actively working with local and state government, along with interested citizens and businesses, to make additional housing opportunities available for moderate income families, disabled individuals and their families, and young families struggling to obtain housing in Calvert County. We are currently working with land that was donated to us by the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners. Through their generous donation, we are going to be building a house for a disabled veteran and his or her family. Some of the costs will be covered by available state and federal program funding, but we will be doing fundraising to help us complete the project. Our timeline is to break ground in spring 2022. While our delegation may not be in a direct position to allocate funds for this project, we wanted you to be aware of our project and hope you will support any state and local efforts to help us move to begin construction in the spring. Any citizen can reach us at www.calverthousing.org or by calling 443-771-8085 if you have questions or would like additional information. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Maureen. Next is the Southern Maryland chain, Theresa Jackson.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Good evening. I bring you greetings from the Southern Maryland Chain Chapter of the Links Incorporated and our president, Jacqueline Gray. I am Theresa Jackson, the Service to Youth Facet Chair. The Southern Maryland Chain Chapter of the Links Incorporated consists of a group of women with diverse backgrounds and professions using our talents to develop, grow, serve, and anticipate the needs of those living in the communities of Calvert County. The cornerstone of our service is our 5 programming facets: service to youth, the arts, national trends and services, international trends and services, health, and human services. Through our facets, we implement programs and initiatives that address the most critical needs of underserved communities. Some of our programs and services in Calvert County include voter registration, mentoring, educating financial literacy, scholarships, promoting the arts, STEM, exposing students to various professionals and their careers, supporting the homeless, Our advocacy agenda includes diversity and inclusion. The Links Incorporated's legislative and public affairs priorities are considered through a lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We work to ensure that public policy being considered is a reflective of our membership and the community we serve. Our health initiatives, affordable health care, protect pre-existing conditions, reducing health disparities, and mental and behavioral health, focusing on our students and our educators, promoting the need for more resources, staff, and funding, economic sustainability, jobs and business ownership recovery, racial and gender economic equity, maintain voter protections, and expand access to the polls, increase voter participation and engagement, civil protections under the law for all, law enforcement reform, reduce gun violence. We ask that each of you support the Southern Maryland Chain Chapter of the Links Incorporated with our programs, initiatives, and advocacy agenda, transforming communities through our voice, our vote, our power. Thank you for your time and good evening.
Thank you, Theresa. The next one is Southern Maryland Minority Chamber of Commerce with Doris Spencer. Doris, can you unmute? We can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. I'm pleased to be able to participate tonight. There are a couple of things I want to touch on briefly. First is to announce the formation of the Southern Maryland Virtual Business Center. The Southern Maryland Tri-County area has been facing unprecedented demographic changes, resulting in increased community diversity and entrepreneurial opportunities. However, our research has found that there remains a significant group of individuals who are unable to participate. We're hoping that this virtual center will enable them to gain the support that they need to be able to do so. In order to provide this center, we applied for a grant with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which we received. And I ask that you go to our website, www.smmcoc.org, to find out more about this virtual center. The second, well, it's a question, quite frankly. The Chamber is a member of the local procurement committee that has formed to improve the procurement process within Calvert County. And in doing so, I went online, as did a couple of others, to take a look at legislation that was occurring. One in particular begs a question, and I hope that the legislators with us today can respond. And it's relative to House Bill 1160. This is the Calvert County long-term contracts for cellular tower leases. What is it? How did it happen? And who is the contract? Who has the contract for these services? We do know that this bill, it is now a bill. It's gone through the entire process. It's been approved by the Calvert County delegation, and it has become a bill from the Governor Hogan. We just don't know enough about it.
Ms. Spencer, your time is up.
Thank you.
Next is Calvert County Commission for Women, Joan DelWinship. Okay. There she is. Can't hear you. Okay. Can you hear us?
Okay, thank you. My name is Joan DelWinship. I am Chair of the Commission for Women, which provides an official voice to improve the lives of Calvert County women and girls. We appreciate the opportunity to be here. We are charged with identifying issues and recognizing the achievements of women and girls, but also recognizing that barriers still exist. So we advocate to eliminate those barriers. The Calvert Commission is a member of the Maryland Commission for Women and the Maryland Legislative Action for Women. We just participated in their annual meeting this past Saturday, which identified statewide priorities to address issues that affect women. And I would like to encourage members of the delegation to be alert to these priorities as they are delivered to you by MLaw in the coming weeks. These include a bill on human trafficking sponsored by Michael Jackson, Time to Care Paid Family and Medical Leave Act, repeal of Marriage as a Defense to Sex Crimes Act, and other issues that you will hear about. 2022 is also the 50th anniversary of Title IX. There's still many issues that need to be addressed in schools, in work, and sports, just to name a few. And our Women of the World event this year will be addressing that, as well as celebrating the achievements of Title IX and women. Additionally, the Commission for Women was instrumental in starting Safe Harbor, the Calvert County Domestic Violence Shelter. We are currently helping to reevaluate support and organization for Safe Harbor, and we may need some support and direction and help from our representatives. Finally, I want to mention that the commission itself is made up of women of very wide range of skills and expertise, and we offer those to you as well as come to you to seek your support. We also want to serve as a resource, not just to women and girls in the county, but to you as our representatives when you come across some of these issues at the state legislature coming up. So thank you for the opportunity to speak and to recognize that we stand ready to work with you together to eliminate barriers and create opportunities for the girls and women of Calvert County. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Okay, the League of Women Voters, Sandra Reevy.
Good evening. The League of Women Voters of Calvert County is pleased to be able once again to sponsor this legislative evening. As most of you know, the Nonpartisan League has three primary missions. First and foremost are voter services. These include regular voter registration events across the county and voters' guides in printed and online vote411.org forms. Our candidate forums give voters a chance to hear what prospective officials have to say on issues of importance to our community. The second mission is to inform citizens about the issues and encourage their active engagement in government by voicing their opinions and concerns. And our third mission is to advocate for sound legislation and policy solutions to problems in society. Our Calvert League has either followed or studied in depth the following priority legislative topics: voters' rights. We currently see attempts to limit voters' access to the ballot across the country, threatening the very foundation of our democracy. We need our officials to defend the integrity of the electoral process, including access to the ballot, secure ballots, and resistance to partisan influence at the polls. Redistricting. We urge you to consider the best interests of Calvert in redrawing the district boundaries, so annexation with a neighboring county won't diminish either the attention or funding for Calvert County needs. Police accountability. We urge you to retain the spirit as well as the letter of the legislation passed in 2021 session and resist attempts to eliminate or water it down. And climate change, a study of which is on our website. Locally, our league has also been monitoring the process for the updating of the town center master plans, beginning in the Prince Frederick Town Master Plan. In all of our activities, the league looks for transparency and integrity from our elected officials. These require citizen input in matters of importance to our community, open and articulated decision-making, and reliance on fact-based information. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. That concludes the pre-registered speakers. Now we will have speakers from the public as time permits, and they are asked to speak for 1 minute. First on the list is Dolores Mackel, who will be speaking as an individual.
It doesn't look like Ms. Makel is here, so the next one, please.
Paige Stevens from Southern Maryland Sierra Club.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Paige. I'm a volunteer for the past 3 years with the Maryland Sierra Club. I wanted to share with you that we recently voted to prioritize the constitutional amendment for environmental human rights for the upcoming legislative session. And I wanted to speak with you about supporting potential involvement in the campaign. We are working with the Maryland State Conference of the NAACP, working in collaboration with the Maryland Campaign for Environmental Human Rights, looking to expand the coalition with additional ideas. The proposed amendment would raise the right to a healthful environment to the level of constitutional protection. In its current form, the language of the amendment states that each person has a matter of basic human dignity as a fundamental and inalienable right to a healthful, sustainable environment. And there's a second part, but I won't be able to get to it. We hope that you'll join us tomorrow for our Southern Maryland Community Rights Forum at 7:30 p.m.
Thank you, Paige. Next is Sylvia Parker from Concerned Black Women.
Good evening. My name is Sylvia Park, and I am with the Concerned Black Women of Calvert County. And we are a volunteer organization who provides services throughout our community. And we do partner with other agencies to help promote health and wellness screenings and proper health care. We also provide annual scholarships for high school students at each one of our high schools. And we also work on the Calvert Local Scholarship Application, which is our CLSA, and that is due to come out very soon, in which it's an opportunity for college-bound applicants to apply for scholarships using one portal. So we do look to have more support from you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Okay. Now we're ready to do the closing remarks from the Maryland representatives, and this is 2 minutes each. And we'll start with Senator Bailey.
You may be gone.
Okay. Let's go on to Delegate Clark.
Well, Senator Bailey had to go pick up his son, I'm sure. Well, folks, thank you very much for having this forum tonight, and I really appreciate it. Again, I can't stress how much better it could have been if we were doing this in person and had more time for a little bit to debate on some of the comments and some of the issues that were brought up tonight. There's a lot of stuff out there that questions that could be answered and some enlightening facts put into, but without the rebuttal, it made it pretty hard to do. So I'm going to take a little bit of my time and just hit on a couple of them. Doris Spencer on that Bill 1160 on the cell tower bill was a bill that was introduced by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that gave the Board of County Commissioners the ability to negotiate long-term contracts with the likes of Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, and other folks that put things on cell towers. There's no individual or private industry contracts that go on it. The towers are the towers that the county put in when they put in the 800 megahertz public safety towers up and down through the county. I'm sure you've all seen them. We had another gentleman, a couple folks that talked about businesses. Is Calvert County got the best business laws in the state of Maryland? Probably not, but the state of Maryland has terrible business laws. All you have to do is look at and check in with the business advocates and look at their yearly ratings of the legislature on folks that are pro-business, and you'll see that the vast majority of the legislature are anti-business and a lot of things. They don't mean to be. I really, truly don't think they mean to be, but they don't understand what it is to run a business. So they tend to put things in place that hurt businesses and cost businesses money. Having said that, I'm willing to work with anybody to make businesses better. 44 years being in private business on my own. I just retired the end of April. There's so many laws, there's so many tax laws on retirement income that need to be fixed in the state of Maryland so that people don't have to leave and go to another state, so that their retirement, especially 401ks and IRAs, aren't taxed at the rate they're taxed. If you have a pension and it comes from certain different pension funds, it's not as taxable as an IRA or a 401k in the state of Maryland. And everybody should be treated the same. Calvert County is a wonderful county. We have a tremendous school system. We're having some hiccups and we're having some troubles just like all over the state, but ultimately the success of the Calvert County school system will always be, just like it always has, is the involvement of the parents of the students that attend them schools and that have the respect the teachers and the principals and the Board of Education. Let them have their say and see what you can do to make it work for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate Clark. Delegate Jones?
Yes, it won't allow me to restart my video. If someone else could do that, then I'm happy to turn my video on. It won't allow me to. Thank you. So thank you all for your commentary tonight. I think that I've tried to sum up that, the community has various concerns about support for our teachers and support for our students in the school system, protecting voting rights, healthcare. We've talked a little bit about support for small businesses and Certainly, I've met with many of your organizations over the past couple of weeks or months, and we've talked about these issues and how we can translate that into legislation on the state level. I understand, Delegate Clark made a salient point that we do have some differences of in perspective in the state when it comes to the small business sector. And I certainly want to be supportive of our small businesses here in Calvert. And so I have spoken with the chamber, and, they have several ideas about small business tax incentives, or some potential ideas that I think we can try to present to the legislature. The Harriet Elizabeth Brown Community Center, that's something that I've had the great privilege of working with Margaret and that group on for several years on the federal level. And so I'm happy to see I can be supportive to the Lieutenant Colonel Richard Collins Foundation. Thank you all for being here and for your continued support to end hate crime and hate violence. And, obviously was glad to support that hate crimes bill this past legislative session, and will continue to support legislation surrounding that. Environmental justice is critically important. There's a portion of my district, albeit on the Prince George's side, where there are 3 power plants in the same zip code. And that obviously is not something that should happen if we're talking about environmental justice for all communities. And so you've all brought up a variety of issues tonight that I want to make sure that I do my part to be supportive of enhancing and drawing attention to those issues. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Delegate Jones. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to J.C. Hooker for closing remarks. You're muted.
I want to definitely thank Delegate Clark and Delegate Jones for coming out this evening and sharing with us. We thank all our other representatives. We know that this is a very busy time of the year, and that that you're hopefully have heard all of the concerns of all our groups to take into consideration. Because I have to say, being a member of the league and working with these organizations, we all love Calvert County, and we hope that each time you go before your sessions, that you definitely have our interests, our concerns, and our needs. And we do appreciate each time being able to give our feedback and our concerns for consideration, definitely in 2022. Thank you all very much this evening for coming out. We thank the audience for participating. I want to say thank you to Trish, thank you to Brandon, and most of all, I want to thank Calvert County Library. They have been very instrumental, not only to us, but to any and every organization while we've been doing Zoom and not able to attend on a face-to-face basis. If you all have any other questions or concerns that were not truly addressed, I'm sure that the delegates, they're always available and willing to take the opportunity to assist you with what your needs or your concerns are. Once again, we want to thank you all, and hopefully next year, we will be able to do this in person. I'll be glad to get back to the face-to-face. But if we have to, once again, I want to say, I think overall this evening, everybody brought a message that was inspiring, and we heard the message. We now ask you as delegates, please, at least consider and take note of how great a community we are for Calvert County. Thank you, and everyone have a good and safe evening. And happy Thanksgiving, by the way.